Hey guys, welcome to A Film Darkly, and today I have a review for you. I reviewed the film The Grudge. This is part 4 of a series of horror flicks that are basically remakes of an original film called Juhon, I think is how you say it, Juhon. Probably not saying it right. Anyways, which is The Grudge. And in case you don't know much about the Grudge series is based on like if somebody dies in a horrible rage, or out of a horrible rage, then a curse is born, and their spirit sort of dwells and basically causes death to other individuals by certain means, and usually the means depend on how the individual themselves were killed. So in the original story, you had a character, I think her name was Kyoko, and she was killed by her husband. And, you know, when she's choked, she makes this weird noise that you hear in the film. It's like a weird groaning, like that. You hear that. And then there's the little boy who gets killed, and somehow, for whatever reason, he sounds like a cat, and it's because he had a pet cat, and all this sort of stuff. So it's really, really interesting. If you haven't seen the original films, see the original films. You could see the American versions, because the American versions, if I'm not mistaken, the first one was actually directed by the same Japanese director who directed Juhon, I think. Um, give me 1 second. So, I'm going to go ahead and look this up real quick and see if I am right. Um, so the first Grudge movie came out in 2004, and it was directed by Takashi Shimizu. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking up right now. This guy directed the original Juhon, and he did. He directed the original Juhon. So he also directed The Grudge 2, which was a sequel, to the American version. And he did this real interesting thing where the original Juhon is all in Japan, and it's about this grudge creature that's going after people. And the American version, he essentially kind of told his same story, but he threw Americans in it, made it to where they're all in Japan, and have like certain things going on in Japan. And so I really enjoyed the original. I enjoyed the second. Some people think the second kind of falls off a little. I thought the second was really good. For the third, they brought in a whole new director, went a whole new direction. And the third one is kind of weird. It is closure to the Grudge series. It understands the Grudge in how it's supposed to be scary. How it kind of does its scary moments. Because some of the moments aren't really built on jump scares. They're built on like feeling and stuff, and knowing something's going on, and it just being a little weird. Like, you hear something, you see something move under your covers, you lift your covers, and her, Kyoko's face just sort of pops up. And I'm probably saying like the wrong actress's name, so I mean the character's incorrect name. So let me look that up real quick so I could stop saying the wrong name if I'm wrong that it's not Kyoko. I'm pretty sure that's her name, but let me see. It's Yoko, or no, it's Kyoko. That's what it is, Kyoko. Okay, so it's Kyoko. I've been saying it wrong. Anyways, so it's Kyoko. So, anyways, I really like the first two, though, like I said, and the third one is decent closure to the story in a way. You find out like so much more, but it sort of tacks on a bunch of stuff that's not really necessary. At least it follows, though, as a sequel. So now going to this The Grudge, which is part 4. So, plain and simple, this movie sucks. It's not really good. It relies heavily on jump scares. Um, in the original, Kayako died a certain way, and that's why she tormented that way. This movie didn't understand that, and they had characters who died completely different ways, who came back as the Grudge and essentially did exactly what Kayako did, and which made little to no sense. It was a lot of jump scares. It didn't have any of the traditional type of scares that you need, that like the original had, that made them good. Um, it does have a little cameo from Kayako, which I liked, but it was all around a bad film. It was just really, really bad film, really bad story. The mom didn't even seem like a mom. You know, it's about this lady who's a detective, who gets a new partner, and her husband recently passed, and she has a son. The son really takes a back seat in the movie. The mom essentially goes to a house that's been infected by the Grudge, walks inside, gets the curse. Okay. So the son and her are basically being tormented, but the son doesn't really come in until, like, he's in the beginning of the movie, then he sort of disappears for like most of it. Then he returns here and there. And it's really about this mother, who is played by, let me look it up real quick. I should have been more prepared, sorry. But, no, that's not her. Who is the one who plays the mother? Oh, Andrea Riseborough? I don't know. John Cho is in this. He has a very, very small part. Lynn Shay is in this. Very small, decent little part. Just plays another crazy old woman. It's just, it's so typical. It's like typical. It just does everything typical. And nothing new about it. Nothing great. Nothing to write home about. It's a boring flick. It's boring. It was predictable. The mother, Andrea, didn't even come off like a mom. She just came off like some lady, you know, some hipster kind of lady who you almost expected to be like a lesbian, and just there was nothing about her that was interesting. She was just there. And the story was just there, and it attempted to kind of do something similar to the movies before, where it sort of like showed past events as if they were like present, and then, you know, kind of like flipping all over the place. Because one of the things the Grudge did is it like would jump back and forth in time. This one attempts to do that, but it just does it in such a crappy way. And it does it in such a crappy way that it lets you know what the end result is before even seeing it. And so you're just kind of like, well, I already know what happened here. I don't need any of this. And it kind of doesn't make sense. It's just kind of a really poorly crafted film. It's not worth seeing in the slightest. It has the same old scares and the same old ending. It kind of, you know, very nihilistic type ending. I will say this, that in the ending shot, he did this interesting thing, the director, where he had a shot outside the home in broad daylight, and the credits just start rolling with no music in the background, except maybe, like, you know, all you hear is like birds chirping, and you just see this house, and that's it. And the credits are rolling over the house, and it's a brightly lit house, and you don't see anything. I kept looking in the windows to see if maybe you see something looking at you. Nothing. Just silent. And I actually thought that was very cinematic. I loved the ending, like the credit ending, the credit rolling. I actually thought the credits rolling was the best thing he did. Let me see if I can find the director's name. It's I think it's Nicholas Pesse. It's Pesse. Never heard of him. Nothing great. He failed in this film, and it sucks when things like that happen. But it is what it is. So, anyways, nothing else to say. Don't go see this. Wait till the home video. Wait till it shows up on Netflix. Maybe check it out if you really want to see it. I wouldn't say ever visit the theater though. I wouldn't say. I would say save your money. It's really not good. It's 1 out of 10. I'd probably give it like a 3. It's just a boring film. It's just nothing special, and it just sort of leans back on old horror tropes, gore and jump scares. So it's just too simplistic. All right, so thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you later. Bye.